What's up, guys? In today's video I'll be installing these structurally insulated panels, or SIPs, on the first floor of my ADU with an inlay unit above that's being built to passive house standards, and it'll be pressure tested and everything else. The video starts a little slow because I have to cover the details of the sill and how you get that airtight. That's a place where it often leaks, and it's also how you attach the panels to the foundation. This is a long video, so sit back, relax. I hope you enjoy it. Please let me know if you have any details or recommendations for me. Thanks. So right here you can see the beginning of the sill seal. What I've done is I ran a bead of Lexel underneath all the way continuously, well, until I ran out, and then I had to pop a new one. And that goes underneath to help with air sealing even further. As you can see, I do a loop around every single tie down. That way we got even better seal right there. I have already pre-drilled all the boards. I had them on, made sure they fit. I just put them up against the side, measured in how far it was to where the tie down will go, and drill the hole there. So all of them fit. Now we're just gonna keep rolling out this fairly inexpensive sill seal. And I know there are better products out there. However, this is the most economical that I can get a hold of right now. And what I'm going to do after this is air seal the outside with some Siga fan trim tape and also an air barrier on the inside. So now what I'm going to do is, I already have Lexel underneath. Now I'm going to throw a bead of Lexel on top the whole way down, just like I did underneath. And that will be my air sealer here. The 2x10 that I have here. The reason why I had to go with 2x10, even though it's only an 8-inch wall, is that the SIP wall has to balance on something or sit on something sturdy. The weight is held by the skin, not the insulation itself. So for my 6-inch core, the skin would be resting on the insulation of my ICF. So that would not, I would not do. Here. All right. So having had it on already, this seats really easily. All right, now it's just putting on some washers and tightening it down. Premier Sips sent 2 of these lifting plates for me. They sent it along with all these panels. Each one can hold 1,850 pounds. This one should be about 250, 300 pounds. So I'm just going to attach one of them here. It also comes with this 3/4 inch spacer and then all the screws. So I'm going to screw all those down and then try to get the first one down. I have some slides set up here. I'm going to try to carefully guide it down without damaging it. The first one's going to be the tough ones. One thing I didn't catch when I got the load diagram was that 2 of the panels I need for the first floor was hidden inside of this pile of panels for the second floor. So one of them sitting right here, and what I did was I put a bottle jack right here. This is just a fill piece, so I didn't care if I destroyed it. And then jacked up this and it freed it up. And I can see I've done the same on the other side over there, because that is my other panel I need to get. So now it's free. I can just grab it from the other side. The naming convention on these panels is W for wall, B is for a second floor. You can see panel wall 4, panel 2, wall 2, panel 6. And this is, you know, they're all second floor. But then you got this one. No, that one. Wall 3. So that's the first floor, panel 8. I need that one. So you can see here I created this gap now because of the bottle jack, and I'm able to just pull that right out, and then I'll put another filler piece in there and we should be good. And here we are, finally putting up the first few walls of the SIP panels. I didn't videotape these because I figured I'd make a bunch of mistakes, and I was correct. The main issue was that the sill plate was too wide. It might have been swelling in the rain, or maybe it was just not 100% from the manufacturer. So because of that, I couldn't seat the panels down on top of it. So it became real hard. I had to hammer it down. Once I figured that out, when I got over here, I had shaved down the sill plate so that it worked perfectly. Then after I was done building this wall, I put some temporary braces on the inside, same ones that I used for the ICF, and they're adjustable. It's the ones from, what do you call it, Fab Form. And now I'm just going through and setting the walls plumb. Initially I just had the wall seated with some screws on the bottom. You can see it's some temporary screws. Let's see, here's one right here. And yeah, there's over here. Now that I have it straightened out, I'm going to go ahead and nail the bottom. The way I straighten it is I put the laser on the bottom here and then measure just the distance to the wall. Went up on top, measured distance to the wall, and then adjusted the wall with that screw right there. We're now ready for the second panel on this wall. What we're going to do is put the caulking in 2 layers up here, all the way to the top, cross over, circle around each one of these pre-drilled penetrations. Then we'll take these guys. These are the splines. And let's see here. Yeah, got a hole on the bottom there, got a hole here, so that matches up nicely. We'll shove that in there and then take this panel and have caulking underneath, set it up, push it into the side, and that's it. These here splines are great. They have good thermal properties and can connect walls, but you can't always use those. Sometimes you have a bearing wall. So here's an example. I've cut a king stud meaning that it goes all the way to the top, and I'm going to be installing it right here. So one is going to go all the way to the top. Then we're going to have a jack stud, which is one that's slightly shorter than that will go up to, as you can see on this other wall. I'm just making a duplicate of this one. It's going to be a header up on top, and then there will be some other pieces below. But let's get started with this guy. Give you a quick video tour update here where we are. I got 2 walls finished. So I go into my little castle here. There we go. So first wall here is good. I did make a mistake when I figured out where these were going to go. So you can see that's in the door opening. I'll have to figure a way to jackhammer those, move them over, and move the door as much that way as possible. And over here, first joint, you can see anywhere this like here I had a lifting plate, I have marked it so that I don't forget to detail it later on. Here we go. Go over here. The headers are an inch shorter than the opening. I don't know, actually not the header, the filler. The headers I custom cut, so those are fine. So because of that, there's glue up in there, but it's not really doing anything. So on the second one, what I did was I left that one completely unglued, as you can see in here, and so that I can easily fill it with some expansion foam. But yeah, this is the second one. You can see there's two similar ones, and this one's good to go. I just got to furry it out with some, I have some zip up on top here that I'll cut for that one. Got to the end. Here we are. You can see I've pre-drilled the holes for the electric so that will go into the new panel that will come right here, which is this one. So first I just have to put on the second sill plate, and yeah, then we're on to the third wall. Now we're going to do this panel here, wall 4, panel 3. So you can see here it's 2 2x material. So my walls are 8 inches wide, so therefore it's 2x8, and I'm gonna have 2 of them stacked. So you can see it's detail PB 204. I gotta find 204. It's not there. It's over here. 204. So you can see it's gonna be a bead of that SIP. It's not glue, but whatever that is in between, and then nailed through. And you can see what kind of nail it is. 12 inches on center staggered. So let's go ahead and do that. The wall itself is 116.5 inches from the top of the sill plate to bottom of the top plate. So let's mark that right here. And then we'll cut it. There we go. I got a saw here. Okay. I got them lined up on the other side. Okay, now I'll carry them out, and then we'll add the adhesive and nail them together. Now there's going to be a hole at 12 and 3/8 and 40 and 3/8. So I'm going to go ahead and see approximately where that is. Put that here. 12 and 3/8 will be around here, and then 40 and 3/8 will be around here. So I haven't drilled the holes yet, I'll do that later, but I want a nice circle around that hole. So we got one there, we got one here. All right, now we're ready to stack them and then nail them together. Let's see, something like that. All right. Okay, that is looking good. So most nails that we use are the smaller nails that are for the panel edges. They do not work when you are attaching these together, and also some other details, some corners and stuff. We need the 10-penny nails, these ones. This gun can shoot either one, so we're good there. All right, we'll shoot a nail. Oh, might have to turn it on. There we go. I'm noticing they're not going all the way in, so I can adjust the tip here. There we go. We'll do the same at the other end. There we go. And then we'll do the staggered pattern. All right, now we have to mark for the holes and drill the holes out. So it's going to match these holes right here. Those holes are, like I said, at 12 and 3/8 and 40 and 3/8 here. And then it's going to be in the middle of this guy. So mark that here, and then a line at 3 and 5/8, which is halfway across. There we go. And we got this big drill here. And I found that it can really twist on you and break your wrist. So best off putting your hands like that instead of your thumb there, or you might break your thumb. Like that. Oh, it's about to go through, but it doesn't really want to. There we go. Okay, this is now ready to be mounted. All right. So before we do that, we're just going to put the sealant on this one as well. Same pattern as before, including the circles around. So 2 stripes up, an inch from the edge or so. And I found pulling is a lot better than pushing. One around, oh, the electrical. One around the electrical. One across the bottom. So we're all set here. We've got to shove it into this spot right here. Now this is from yesterday. I had a break, so I'm going to add a little bit more sealant right there. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Pretty heavy now. Okay. Oh, I haven't removed the strap. It's gonna be an issue. Let's sit here for now. Hopefully it will stay. Stay. This is a strap I found at Home Depot. It has that kind of hook, which really helped in not destroying the panels when I tighten it together. All right, that's in there. I don't have to worry about pushing it too hard in right now because I'm later on going to put that wall up and then strap it in. Okay, onto the wall. So now we no longer need these bigger nails. We go down to the 8D nails. Now some walls you can flip them either way, like they'll have the same cut in on each side here. Let's check this one. It does. Then we also want to check where are the holes here and here. That means this is the bottom. Now this one I could put straight up right now and everything is fine. However, if you look here, you can see that the numbers that are written on it, actually I can't see them right here, but the numbers are written on the outside, not the inside. There's no numbers here, so I know that the other side should be out. So I'll just flip it. Again, this panel doesn't make any difference except for maybe if this vertical chase was not right in the middle, then it can make a difference. Okay, now we're gonna figure out exactly how far out this one's gonna go and then caulk it on the bottom. So we'll measure the width of the panel, mark that onto the sill. We have 36 inches. That's 36 inches from back there. 36. That ends up right here. So I'll put sealant up to there, but not too much past it, because when I do, I just end up stepping in it later and making a mess. So here we go. All right, so before we put it in, got a caulk here, same pattern as there. I just like to do it here so it stays protected. All right, so what we're supposed to do is stand the panel on the edge and tilt it in so you don't destroy the glue pattern you have on the bottom. I've had a really hard time doing that. So primarily I have been setting it up straight up and then pulling it in. It might not be ideal, but it has worked for me when I'm doing this by myself. Since this is the smallest panel I have, I'll see if I can do it the right way. But normally this is it for me. I just stand it up, push it in. I try to do it the other way. Lift it up. I'll try to give it a little tilt. Move that over to the line. There. Turn it on. There you go. Alright, it worked out really well since it was such a small pattern. Oh, panel. But it's been very hard on big ones. So I can see the bottom is seated. It could be pulled together more. So I'm just going to strap it. Okay, they're ratcheted together. It's still seated well on the bottom. Now it's time to nail it off. I don't nail the bottom plate. I just put a couple of screws in there for now. And later on I'll adjust the entire wall. Then remove the screws and put in nails in there too. So here we go. But for right now, we got the panel painting nails that will shoot all the way up here. You don't have to worry about the chases and going through there because they are short nails. They don't penetrate that deep in this depth panel. also a 2x4 that's going to go on, or 2x8 that goes on top later. So I don't shoot all the way through there. I'm just going to do the same on the outside. Houston, we have a problem. So I got to the end of the third wall here, and even though I don't have big gaps in between the panels, there should be 1/8 of a gap in between all of them. And as you can see here, let's see, here's a gap. It's barely nothing. Here's another. Here's another. It's a little bigger, but anyway, they're not very big. However, I came to the end here and I'm exactly 1 inch wider than it's supposed to be. So if there's any field modification that's needed, then they do provide you a tool for that. So first, what I've done was I have used my saw, track saw. You can see the track is still mounted up here, and I cut off 1 inch off the end. So this one should be ready to be removed. There you go. It's done. So now what I do is I got to recess this 1 inch further. Let me show you the tool for that. Along with the panels, they sent these tools here that will just melt out the foam at a certain depth that I set based on that depth gauge. I have this one that's for walls, and this one is for roofs. They only sent the roof one, but my buddy has done this before, and he gave me, or let me borrow his. So I'm going to use this one here, see if it fits, and then just melt away. So now that we have this one hot, go ahead. It's too wide to go in this way, so just put an angle, turn it over, and then just pull it down. So that should now route out or melt out a perfect 1.5 inch deep cut, because that's what I set it to, since I am putting in a 2x8 on the end here. Well, that's nice. All the smoke is behind there. So that makes sense. We'll start from the top and work our way down. It looks like I actually have to break it here. Take that out, because I gotta flip it upside down. It is sizzling. It does make it very easy to field modify the panels if you had a little too much growth in your construction. Love the sound of it. Okay, here it wasn't quite hot enough, so let's see if I can modify that. Just be next to it, melts it. All right, let's work our way. I'll start up here so we can get that chimney effect going again. As high as I can reach here. And we'll pull it down. All right, we'll keep going down. Sounds like pop rocks, just slightly more toxic. And for the Greta Thunbergs out there, you don't have to complain. My wife does it already. Here's a very important detail on the end where you have a corner. After you put in your 2x material, you have to drill out where the electrical chase is. If you don't do that, then you won't be able to connect the two walls together with your electrical. So you have to drill it on this side, but also the face of the next wall. So first I got to do this one. Just gonna mark it there, 4 1/8. And that should hit the middle. Oh shit! Let's try that again. There we go. That should hit the chase. Drill the face on the next one, and we'll be good. Here I'm getting ready for the front of the garage. So this side is going to have both a 4x8 and a jack stud to hold the header. So a little trick I do when I do this by myself is just to put something to hold the other side up so you won't twist one way or another. And that way I can easily place this in here. Another thing is this 4x8 came at 7.5 inches wide instead of 7 1/4 like this. So through experience now, I have learned to double check that before I get too far, because you don't want to splay this out too much. All right, that looks good. So this is the side that gets both the 4x8 and the jack stud. The other side just gets a 4x8. All right, that's in there pretty good. Now we'll hammer it in place. Find it's a lot easier to do with, like a dead blow, or if it's massive like this, just straight up use a sledgehammer. Use a sledgehammer on the smaller ones, you're gonna crack them. But this can take it. If you were here, you'll be able to hear the difference from when it's seated and not. It's like a hollow sound when it's not seated, and then it gets a lot more dense when it's all the way down there. So that was good. We will now, actually I'll put that down a little bit. We will now move on to a jack stud. These 2-ply ones are the garage door headers. So let's figure out how wide they are. Let's see here. That is looking at 11.5. Make sure they did this right. Yeah, 11.5. So to figure out the length of my jack stud, I just go from the top, go down 11.5, make a mark there. Let's see here, and then we'll measure. So let's see, what's my top? That's the top. 11.5. Make a mark. My jack stud, or cripple if you will be 505 inches. All right. Time to put the jack stud in. So first we will put in some sealant in the same pattern as before. It's important to remember that we're also going to later on drill space for the electrical. Oh, I got a little skinny. So I marked that at a 40 3/8 and 12 3/8 from the bottom, so that gets sealant as well. There's the 40. Here's the 12 3/8. We'll circle around that. Circle around this one. Got a little skinny there. There we go. A little skinny there. What am I doing? Okay. So we're ready to throw in the jack stud. This is the bottom. Just keep telling myself that. See how it came in sideways? It's because I didn't put support up there, but it'll be all right. Right in there. There we go. Okay. We'll hammer this into place so that the sealant is taken really good. And we now have a pocket up on top here that the header can sit into. And that will carry the weight through the jack stud all the way to the sill plate. So let's hammer it and then nail. So the pattern for this one is every 5 inches with a 10D nails. Notice that's sticking out further than I expected. I should have probably checked the width of this guy too, not just since it was a little too long this way. Let's see here. 3.5. No, that's correct. Okay. All right, we'll take it for what it is then. Let's go ahead and do some nailing. So first, we'll nail straight down. So every 5 inches compared to every 6 inches in the field. There we go. All right, so we're happy with that. Now we nail it this way. Alright, that one's ready to go. I was just about to start drilling here, and I realized that's completely wrong, because this is the garage door entrance, so there's no drilling there. What I do have to do is, on the bottom here, on the opposite side, I have to drill here to match up with these holes here. So let's put it down and drill those holes. So here we go. Okay. And this is the inside, so we're looking at from the outside here. We want to be at 12 3/8 and 40 3/8. Okay, mark. Measure that in. I believe the middle is at, that is way off of that mark. Let's see why. Oh, because I am measuring from the bottom, which we cannot do. If I do that, I gotta add 1.5 inches, right? Yeah, 1.5 inches. So let's just move that line over 1.5 inches. For now, let's put it at 4 1/8. 4 1/8. And let's double check that here. 4 1/8. Yeah. Okay, so now we'll drill that out, and that's going to leave me in the middle of this 4x8 that's going on this side. So I'll have to pre-drill that one as well. I'll have to pre-drill it this way, but not all the way through, and this way, but not the entire thing. So let's see where it is, and then we can mark it and drill it. Where are you? Here you are. I realized where the electrical here will come in from that side. Will not interfere at all with the top one. So I'm good with this amount of chase. So I can just go ahead and start sealing up here. I'll definitely be running out. prepping up this garage door opening. So you can see here I have quite a bit of material in. I got a 1 or 2x8, a 4x8 in there. Then you can see the jack stud is kept down from the top. Let's see here, I'll climb up to show you that. Kept down from the top, the height of the header. Then here is the little top wall that I'm putting in right now. It's going to slide on top of this one, so this is an 1.5 inch gap. Same over there. Then we'll go over to, it looks like a header, but it's not. It's just an extension of the wall. Here is the wall. I put in a 2x8 on top, so that those pieces that you saw attached to the jack stud are going to slide in here, and that will be great. The first floor construction is now primarily done. Only thing I have left is to build one interior wall here, which will be dividing the staircase to the mechanical room. Let me show you around here. Here we got the double bay garage. I've not attached the straps on that side, but you can see these have been installed already. In here, I've taken out the insulation that was sitting here just while I poured. This one is pretty good. That one floated up while I was doing the pour, so I gotta chip that out. Let's keep going in here. So here we go. The headers up above, they all need plywood, so I have not attached the plywood on top just to fur it out to the right height. Here is the entrance into the mechanical room. Gotta cut that sill back. Then in here, you can see we got the floor drain with the top off to the side right now. In here is the mechanical room. It will come up to right around here, and be a wall here for the stairs that goes up to the second floor. It'll come up to a landing and then go up that way. It will be open back here. My biggest mistake right here, when I pour the concrete, I put these in thinking the door was starting here, but that was me just leaving an extra sill plate. So now I gotta go here and cut all that concrete out, move them over a little bit. So that's a fun extra project. But yeah, that's a full tour. Thank you guys for watching till the end. Next for me is taking delivery of the floor trusses on the 14th, so I can start on the second floor. Left on the first floor is going to be getting the windows and door frames prepped. We're using Presico products there, Cat 5, some Fast Flash, joint and seam filler, and air dam. So look out for that. That's coming up. And I will see you in the next one. Cheers.